Hi guys, I just wanted to kind of give a little visual, say hi to you, and give you some directions for kind of moving forward these next couple days. I apologize if I was a little vague in the email that I sent out to you, but just wanted to give you some information on what you can kind of be expecting for these next couple days here. We are going to kind of put the brakes on our new material when we talk about probability, and we'll be starting that again on Monday, what's that going to be, the 12th, the 26th. So we're going to kind of pause and we're going to go back and do a little bit of review work on some things that are going to show up on the PSSA. If you are opted out of the PSSA or you're not going to be taking it, I apologize for the little bit of review, but to be completely honest with you, these are super important 7th grade topics moving forward, and also just kind of things that you're going to see real life. So regardless of your status there, these are super important for you kind of moving forward. So I did just kind of want to check in with you. If you look at the stuff that's on the screen here that I'm on here with, these are all review lessons. So for the bulk of you, this is going to be not new material. Now, if you have started in and it was after like the December, January timeframe and you are new to my class or anything, which there are a couple of you, these things may not be review for you guys. They might actually be brand new, but we're going to try and break them down and keep them as simple as possible. They are relatively easy topics, but definitely something for you to look at. So for the most of you, these are not going to be new material pieces. We are going to be taking notes on paper and or in your math notebook, so please make sure that you have that ready to go for class each day. Above and beyond this, every day there's going to be a little lesson that kind of reviews the topic with you, and then after that on Google Classroom, the lesson will be number 1 after the read first for the day setting. Lesson will be number 1, and then number 2, 3, potentially 4, there's going to be a couple different review topics. In each of those review topics, please make sure that you double check the directions on them if there are any. Some of them are going to be IXL assignments, which we have actually already completed before, but in the past I only made you go to a 70. For IXLs this time around, we're going to be working that 70 all the way up to a 100 SMART score. So please make sure that you read the directions just so that you know what is going on. Those numbered assignments, I'm going to ask you to be completing them daily and really in theory by the end of this class period as well as then the end of the school day. So if you don't get it done right away, please make sure that you get it done during that school day for me, okay? I am going to have limited access to email and stuff during the days when I am not in person with you, so please just be aware that if you do email me, it may not get looked at that particular day. I'm going to try and get to them within about 24 hours is my goal, but it kind of depends on what's going on. So, all right. That is kind of the last bit of intro here. So without further ado, we're going to go into kind of review topic number 1 for today. So I am going to get rid of this, and actually I'm trying to see if I can eliminate the webcam here. All right, so it's not letting me do this quite nicely here, but we'll make it work for today. So we're going to start off talking about with ratios and rates for our class time today. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have your piece of paper ready to go, hopefully, you're going to go ahead and title it Ratios and Rates. And we are then going to go ahead and start talking about these things. So again, just like before, please write down what you feel that you need. Ratios are just fractions, if you remember that one. R-A-T-I-O-S. They are just fractions. Ratios do not have any units, and then we simplify them just like they're fractions. So we're going to do a couple examples here, and then we're also going to talk about rates. Rates are just division problems, and you leave the labels on for rates. So we're going to start off with the example of a ratio here. And our ratio is going to be 50 seconds, colon, 2 minutes. And both of these are talking about time. If you notice, we have seconds versus minutes though. And in order for us to be able to compare these and simplify them, these have to match up. So a lot of times we move to the smaller unit. So we're going to keep the seconds. And I'm going to actually urge you to write these as a fraction. So we're going to put 50 seconds over 1 minute has 60 seconds, so 2 times 60 is going to be 120 seconds. our units cancel, and then we treat this just like a fraction. So we get 50 fraction 120, we reduce, and we get 5/12. So my ratio here is now 5:12, and we can write that. Back kind of initially, it had the colon in between it, so I'm going to ask you to rewrite it that way. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more work with ratios here. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and take a moment, and we have this little picture that's here. So we're comparing tacos versus pizza, and we're going to write a couple ratios. We're going to write the ratio of tacos to pizza. So that's going to be our first one here. So if we count these up, everything 5, 10, and that looks like that's 14, 5, 10, 15, 16, for a total of 30. So if I do tacos to pizza, I'm comparing 14 to 16, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce, and I get 7/8 for that fraction. If we compared pizza votes to the total, we could do that. And pizza votes are going to be 16 to our total of 30. And again, treat it just like a fraction and reduce. We get 8/15. Okay? So next thing that we can see is an application of a ratio. So in a class, our ratio of boys to girls is 3:2. So for every 3 boys, we have 2 girls. There are 25 students in class. So my question to you is, how many girls? So for every 3 boys, we have 2 girls. So we're going to say 3 boys, 2 girls. That's a total of 5. And we could double our ratio and now have 6:4, which is a total of 10 students. And we could triple it, which would give us 9:6, and that's a total of 15. Hopefully you're realizing, okay, it looks like we're going to actually have to take this ratio and multiply it by 5, because this ratio would not be doubled or tripled. It's actually going to have to be 5 times. So if we do it by 5, I'm going to actually just go ahead and do that down here. 3 times 5 would be 15. 2 times 5 would be 10, for a total of 25 students. So that's correct there. How many of them are girls? Remember, this was boys to girls. So that would tell me there's a total of 10 girls. Now, the way that we can also do this, because we know the ratio and we know the total, we could say that there's going to be 3 sets of boys, 3 boys and how many sets, plus 2 girls times how many sets, and we need our total to be 25. This would automatically divide by 5, and we get x is 5. That tells me right away that I need to do the times 5 situation here. So if I were finding girls, 2 times 5 would be 10, and I could kind of skip going through this whole guess and check method. Either method is fine, doesn't matter, just make sure that you can actually show some work either way there. Okay? We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some rates. And rates are division problems, and we leave labels on. So, for example, we have a snail that crawls 1/3 of a foot in 1/6 of an hour. So we're going to do distance per hour, feet per hour, because we don't do hours per feet. So we're going to do 1/3 of a foot over 1/6 of an hour. And this over right here is really your division sign. So 1/3 divided by 1/6. You're going to go ahead and type that into your calculator. And 1/3 divided by 1/6 is going to give you 2 feet per hour. Okay. We can also see another one here. If we traveled 70 miles in 2 hours, we're going to do miles per hour. So we're going to do 70 miles per 2 hours. 70 divided by 2 is going to give you 35 miles per hour, was how fast you were going. Okay. The other thing that we can talk about with unit rates is actually what we call unit price. And we've done unit price before, and anytime we do this, it's a unit rate involving money. And anytime we see this, money comes first. So when I'm dividing, my money should always be first. So for example, I have a $2.12 pack of fruit snacks. And there are 4 packs in the container. So I want to know what's the actual cost per pack of fruit snacks. So I know the cost of the whole packaging, but then those 4 packs are inside. So I'm going to do the money, $2.12, divided by the 4 packs. And when I divide, I get 53 cents per pack. Because I'm talking about money here, I'm always going to have to round to 2 decimal places because money has 2 numbers after the decimal point. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this chart here. We have a couple different types of markers here. We know how many markers are in the box, and we know how much the box cost. So I'm going to go through and actually calculate the unit prices for all these different markers here. So I'm going to be doing the price divided by the number. So for example, the wide tip markers, I have $3 divided by 6 markers. And I get 0.5 on my calculator, but because it's money, I do need to put that 0 at the end. So this one is 50 cents per marker. Narrow tip markers are $3.50 for 10 markers, and that gives me 35 cents per marker. Next one is $5.50 for 7 markers. And when I divide, I end up with 79 cents per marker. And I have 5.75 divided by 5. And that's going to give me $1.15 per marker. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do the last one, the washables. So they're $5.40, and that buys you 12 markers. So the last one, the $5.40 divided by the 12 markers, is going to give you 45 cents per marker. If we had to pick then here, which one would be the cheapest? Cheapest would be the lowest, which would be these. Those were the second ones, which were the narrow-tipped markers. So we also have this packaging of some dry erase markers here. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and calculate the unit price for each one of them. And the questions are going to pop up asking you for the unit price for each one. So for the chisel point markers, you want to do $15.45 divided by 15 markers. And that gives you a unit price of $1.03. For the wide point markers, you're doing $11 divided by 10 markers. That's going to give you a unit cost of $1.10 per marker. The final one, the fine point, you're doing $3.92 divided by 4 markers, and that is going to give you 98 cents per marker. Which marker has the highest cost per marker? Which one is the highest? Looking at these three, $1.03, $1.10, or 98 cents. $1.10 is going to be the most expensive, which was the wide point markers. So that's the end of your review lesson for today. Just to kind of recap, you talked about ratios, unit rates, and also unit price. There's going to be a couple working activities